So good morning. We've had a lot of great moments in church over the past few months. We've had great music and great messages, and we've shared some great moments of connection. For me, it all started at the January Happiness Adventure celebration. We celebrated 12 months of learning, growing, and laughing together. I think each person who participated expressed to me that the best part of the class was having in-depth conversations about things that mattered while connecting with other people. Connections with other people continued in our spirit circles. Spirit circles are always a good way to meet others, share your faith, and discuss spiritual topics. The most recent section of our book, The Quest, tackled some tough concepts of mystical experiences. I learned a lot by listening to those in my group. The next big moment was during our youth and family night celebration of Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras, sometimes called Fat Tuesday, is a celebration before the Christian church season of Lent, Lent being the 40 days before Easter. Our Unity families gathered on a Tuesday night. Kids and adults put on green, gold, and purple beads. We donned our feathered and bedazzled masks. We danced to Zulu music and made crafts. Best of all, we ate food. A shout out to Jessica Harwood for her delicious homemade gumbo. Her Louisiana roots really shone through the authenticity of the food. The Youth and Family Mardi Gras celebration was an opportunity to get to know each other better, share a meal, and be aware of our oneness in spirit. After dinner, we turned the Lenten custom of giving up something for 40 days on its ear. Instead of giving up anything in preparation for Easter, we all agreed to do something each day that would be good for ourselves and other people. Another big moment was the Unity Women's Retreat at Chapel Rock Conference Center the first weekend in March. 21 women spent time dancing, singing, meditating, creating art, and learning together. At the retreat, it is beyond, between, and after the planned activities that the real magic happens. Women making connections with other women. Women making friends, sharing deeply, crying and laughing together. It was a weekend of great connections. As a community, we had the opportunity to celebrate the life of Sandy Prufrock. This was another deeply spiritual moment for our community. The church was full as it is on any Sunday. We were able to share memories, see photos from Sandy's life, and catch up with old friends. We acknowledged and celebrated how Sandy let her God light shine while serving this community for over 30 years. It was a triumphant spiritual experience to acknowledge that we are spiritual beings and we are eternal beings. We continue after our human experience ends. Then came Holy Week. On Palm Sunday, we had the opportunity to celebrate communion together, which was, for me, profound. And last week, we celebrated Easter with the choir singing, Richard's talk, and a beautiful time of fellowship downstairs. And give it up for Linda J., who put on a wonderful feast, and her crew. But I don't want to forget Dot and Lindsay because they created those very festive table decorations. So we thank them all. We enjoyed a fellowship time filled with a great feeling of being family. And at the same time, nature put on a springtime show of rain, snow, clouds, and sunshine. There have been all these great occasions for connection, opportunities to feel your spirit soar, to be filled with love and gratitude. But what happens next? What happens the day after or the next week? Do those great human connections stay connected? Does all the love that filled your heart overflow to others? Have you maintained an attitude of gratitude? How did the spiritual experience of communion translate into a deeper, more connected spiritual walk? What did you do with the knowledge that spirit is resurrected and alive in you? I love all the big moments and all the big celebrations, the retreats, the classes, the wonderful fellowship times with others. But after the moment, the spiritual high or the profound awakening comes. Either there is a bump or a slump. A bump is when we take what we've learned or experienced and not only allow it to evolve our spirit, but we actually take action to ensure that we continue the good. A slump, on the other hand, is to have a moment, a spiritual high, or a profound awakening, and then just let it sit until the feeling or the awareness begins to fade. We go back to our day in, day out lives and our regular spiritual practices, but the chance for a deeper, greater, more insightful spiritual unfoldment of our soul is lost. To have a bump, you must practice Unity's 5 principles, especially the 5th principle, which is action. Now, if you're new and you haven't heard these before, I'm going to paraphrase our 5 principles using the words of a song by Aaron McGowan of Seattle Unity. 1, God is good. 2, good in everyone. 3, a thought can turn your water into wine. 4, prayer and meditation make it easy to feel. 5, you've got to walk the talk to make it real. That 5th step is key. We must walk the talk. We must act if we want to experience the bump, the building of our spiritual strength. We have to consciously take steps to incorporate our new knowledge, our deep feelings, our fresh awareness into our life practices. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore said, "The truth you know is the truth you use. Otherwise, it is only theory, and it has no power to change your life." Let me give you some examples of taking action to realize a spiritual bump. At the women's retreat, after the program finished for the evening, Jessica Harwood, Gabby Villa, Diane Lesso, and I sat around and talked into the wee hours of the night. We laughed so much that my face hurt the next day. It was a realization of how much we enjoyed each other's company, but busy lives mean we rarely spend any time together. So after the retreat, Diane, who loved that connection, wanted to keep it going. She didn't want to lose it. She called me up and she said, "Let's go to group karaoke." Neither one of us had ever been to group karaoke, but Gabby and Jessica were running it. So Diane thought that might be a way to keep our connection going. So last month, Diane and I went to group karaoke, and we loved it. I have a very good sing in the car or sing in the shower voice, but a pop star I am not. It didn't matter. Everyone there just sang along with voices that were good, mediocre, and really bad. Because it was March, we sang all sorts of songs with a Celtic influence. We sang good old Irish ballads where everyone dies at the end. We sang some more modern songs by Irish songwriters. But my favorites were the sea shanties. When was the last time you sang a sea shanty? So we sang along. What do you do with a drunken sailor? Shave his chest with a rusty razor. I'm telling you, it was fun. We laughed. We did get up and dance. We all sang, and we made some new friends. Group karaoke is a wonderful community building experience. Diane and I plan to keep attending. This month, the theme, as Chris told us, is Motown. So I've been practicing my background vocals and the choreography. Okay. If you like to sing and meet people, join us there. It's this Wednesday, April 10th, 6:30 in the Fellowship Hall. There's almost always snacks, too. Another bump came from the Happiness Adventure class. Near the end of class, we looked back at our projects and decided which ones raised our happiness the most, and then decided which strategies we wanted to continue. One man who attended the class shared with his wife, who did not attend the class, things he used to do that brought him great happiness, but then life got in the way, and he stopped doing some of his favorite things. As they talked, he and his wife identified a few things they used to do together. The happy memories evoked from reminiscing inspired them to make some changes. They made plans to pick up some of their favorite activities. They put them on the calendar and determined with each other they would not let life get in the way. Another group of people from that class were encouraged to engage in and commit to Adulthood 2, which is a new class. This class is designed to assist each person in creating a compass and a roadmap to discover their next great adventure. It is a 6-month commitment, and the participants are making personal discoveries as well as spending quality one-on-one time to make deep connections with classmates. In all of these scenarios, these folks didn't want to let what they had experienced or learned just sit. They didn't want their spirits to regress. Instead, each person has taken action to let their God light shine. If you're not willing to take action to keep that upward momentum moving you into the next spiritual discovery, then you're going to slump. To be honest, it's easier and requires less energy to slump. The mountaintop high feels great, and we often intend to do more spiritual reading or take a class or invite a classmate to coffee or start a journal, and instead a kind of spiritual inertia takes over. Our ego gives us some excuse or a pass on the need to take any action. Things are fine as they are becomes an unconscious mantra, and the intention fades away. Last week, Richard said something that really struck me. He said, I think it is easier to worship Jesus than it is to follow in his footsteps. It is easier to be amazed and impressed by what he did than actually do it in your own life. See, it is easier to slump after hearing an inspiring message. It is easy to intend to do the homework Richard assigns us, but then after lunch and a good nap and maybe a game on the television, we move on to life as it has been and forget our good intention to take action. In short, we slump. Sometimes folks sign up for and begin a class and then think, this is a lot of work. So they drop it. Slump. That good intention which inspired you to sign up for the class fades as your ego reminds you things are fine as they are. Or the even more insidious and false belief, I'm too busy to do that. Are you kidding me? What are you prioritizing over your own spiritual expansion? Yes, life can get in the way if you allow it. Our ego is averse to change. Our ego is especially opposed to change that is going to expand our spirit. So our ego reminds us why we don't like change. The top 3 resistors to change are avoiding uncertainty, which can make you feel anxious or unsafe, feeling incompetent, which is being a novice or feeling like you're back at the beginning, and effort. Change does require effort and energy. It is easy for your ego to convince you that you don't have enough of either, energy or effort, to make the change. In a recent blog, Diana Hill, PhD, a frequent contributor to Psychology Today, made suggestions of how to create change in your life by addressing those ego resistors to change. She advises us to become a person who welcomes change. She says you must first ride the wave of uncertainty. That means stay in the present moment without worrying about what comes next. Even if you don't know what's next, you can handle what's happening right now. You can handle the wave you're riding today. Next, she says to open yourself up and choose incompetence. Now, doesn't that sound fun? According to Dr. Hill, the best thing for your ego is to lose it. Be a beginner. Skillfully fumble. Focus your attention on making progress over being an expert. Finally, she says, enjoy the discomfort of growth. Growing pains can feel good when you lean into them. and embrace them. Feel the change and enjoy making progress by taking action toward those things that you value and learn from your mistakes. I have heard people say, well, you just can't go from mountaintop high to mountaintop high. Are you sure? Yes, life circumstances will bring you challenges, but if your spirit is prepared, that challenge in reality is an opening to practice your new, greater understanding or illumination of your God light, your spiritual purpose. The mountaintop high can lead you to the next mountain and new, more interesting spiritual discoveries. I enjoy listening to K-Love Radio, a station dedicated to playing positive songs of faith. But sometimes I get frustrated with all the songs that give thanks for being saved and then stop there. Yes, it is good to find your higher power or evolve your consciousness or accept a new belief in a universal God for all people, whatever being saved means to you. But the point is to live the Spirit within you. I want to shout at the songwriters, okay, you're saved. Now what? The point of knowing God is to feel the divine within you and then live, move, and make choices that shine your God light to the world. Sitting in the knowledge that you are a spiritual being having a human experience and not moving past that declaration is a slump. Faith is not an intellectual exercise or an emotional panacea. Faith is something that is lived. Faith is moving, expanding, and deepening as we live the truth we know. As we express our God light, as we magnify the Spirit within us, as we enlarge our capacity for unconditional love, we become the hands, feet, and speech of God in our world. So Easter has passed. The opening for a spiritual bump exists. Last week, Richard invited us to all take an honest inventory of the pain, disappointments, drama, and fears we are carrying around with us and be willing to let them go for the possibility of a resurrection into a new soul story. I invite you to hear the reality of Easter, God is alive in me, and choose your next step toward a bump in your spiritual adventure. Peruse the bookstore and the library downstairs and find a book to brush up on metaphysical principles. Maybe it's time to get a new devotional resource or experiment with sound meditation. Laura has this new book. It's more of a device. It's an affirmation, generator, an affirmation generator. She'll have to show you how it works because you got to flip things and do stuff. Make time in your schedule to take a class. Richard will be teaching a class in May. Currently, we have 20 plus folks learning about boundless compassion. Another way to move toward a bump is to visit or join a group to expand personal connections, like the Men's Discussion Group or the Men's Fellowship Network. Unity Women is a great place for women to meet like-minded folks. If you like to sing, there is the choir that meets on Thursday nights or group karaoke this Wednesday. I encourage you to make a move toward the bump. Take action on your good mountaintop high and engage in some sort of bump. The next mountain awaits you. Go grab your climbing gear and get ready to bump. Amen. We're going to begin our meditation taking 3 deep breaths, 1 to quiet your mind, 1 to relax your body, and then 1 to follow into your heart space. So let's begin. And with your next breath, follow it all the way into your heart space. We breathe the breath of God that makes all life holy. For this moment, feel that you are one with the divine. Know and feel that we are all one with the Creator of all that is, the source of all that will be. And today we give thanks for the gifts of the earth, for sky and wind, for snow and rain, for daffodils as they herald all the flowers to come, for birds crowding feeders as they migrate back home. Give thanks and recognize the turning season. With thanksgiving, we say goodbye to winter. And we turn our attention to the coming spring. We give thanks and praise for the soft green of new growth, for unexpected patterns and surprise weather, for bright colors of the budding flowers. We give thanks for new growth in our own lives, for new opportunities to be a spiritual light. Spring is the time of awakening and welcoming all that is new. In the silence, go within and allow Divine Spirit to guide you toward your new springtime opportunity. You are an ever-renewing, ever-unfolding expression of infinite life.